the next time you are having negative thoughts or feeling really anxious, I want you to try this 3-step technique for reframing your negative thoughts. This actually is from CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's a really popular therapy that focuses a lot on thought strategy. So if you're curious, definitely follow along and go to learn more about it. Number one, what I want you to do is I want you to identify the thought. So it seems very common sense, but a lot of the time people are feeling nervous or anxious, for example, and they don't know why, or they don't know, what is causing these feelings. Most of the time a thought is associated with it. And if you think back, you can definitely find a few thoughts that are worrisome to you or causing you distress. If you're not able to do that, or maybe it's difficult for you to do that, I want you to think about thoughts that maybe you find yourself repeating in your head a lot, or thoughts that come up constantly. Like for example, sometimes it might be, I'm a horrible friend, or I'm a bad partner, or I'm the worst at my job. So things like that come up, that's definitely what you want to first identify. Number two, I want you to examine the evidence. So what this means in this context is I want you to examine the thought and give evidence of the thought being true or being false, right? So think of yourself as a detective here, and I want you to look at the thought and ask yourself, like, is this actually true? What is the other angle of this? Like, what's the opposite angle? Are there things that I can say that are not true about this? So for example, like a detective, right? Like you would question someone. So you would question the thought and really think to yourself, like, is this really true? Like, am I really the worst friend, or am I horrible at my job? Like, what are things maybe I do good at work? So examine the evidence there. And number three is all about the reframing. So reframing is saying the thought in a different way and making it more realistic or maybe less extreme. So for example, for when someone would say, I'm the worst employee there ever is, I suck at my job, what I would tell them to reframe it would be, while there are some shortcomings I have at work, I also am really good at my job, and I'm really good at X, Y, and Z. So having yourself identify a thought that is more neutral and it's more helpful. This sounds really simple, you guys, but it's in these simple everyday things that you will actually change your thoughts. And that's the thing with thought reframing and thought strategies. It takes practice. You're not going to just wake up one day and be like, oh my God, I'm healed, I'm positive, I'm never going to be negative again. Like, that's really not the way it works. Practice here, make the effort, and practice really makes perfect here. So you want to keep practicing thought reframing strategies. The cool thing about this is you can do this anywhere. So when you're driving, you're home, as soon as a thought comes up, get into the habit of reframing it.